There's a little topic to be discussed about attachments and Hane. Let me show you an example from a game of Japanese professionals, an invasion, and black attacks the stone. White group is left without a base. White has a choice, either white rounds out to the center, or white somehow tries to live on the side. If you just run to the center, which is also permissible, then black will play here, for example. The group is really left without a base. White will have to spend many moves in order to settle it. If white doesn't want to run and prefers to live on the side, what are some ways of doing that? You can play a knight's move. If black responds, then the group is not 100% alive. But again, if you run, the group won't die. What other methods are used? What I wanted to show you now is an attachment, and then we play a Hane. This is a standard technique, attachment and Hane. Theoretically, if white had big ko threats, it would be possible to play here and start a ko after this move. But this is a ko in early Fuseki. It will be extremely difficult for white to win such a ko. Even if we use attachments to create ko threats, which we'll talk about later as well. So what happened in the game? White attached and followed it up with a Hane here, this lesson's topic. What would you do as black? How would you respond? There are several ways. Let's first see what was in the game. It seems to me that it's not the most ideal option for black. In the game, black played Atari. So black decided to play for influence, Atari, then connected, white connected, and then black builds a powerful thickness. But what is the downside of that? If white lives in Sente, it's not clear if black can use their thickness. So it would be nice to get thickness in Sente for black. Maybe even now, if it was my game, I would think about trying to steal Sente for black and still manage to attack the white stone at the bottom. We would really want to play some kind of invasion here. And in the game, black added a move in the corner, and white had time to defend here. In my opinion, it didn't work out very well for black. The wall, of course, is powerful, but it's not clear what black is going to do with this wall. There are no objects of attack, the territory is gone, so the white invasion was quite successful. Were there any other ways? Let's see if black doesn't want to build a wall. Black has a great trick here that is used very often. What was played in the game was probably not the most popular move. What is the most basic technique here? We knock out the base, white attaches, we block. In response to Hane, instead of building the wall, we can simply play Atari and capture the white stone. This is considered the most basic variation. The first thing that black should think of in this sort of positions, we sacrifice one stone, even if the latter is in white's favor. And we just take Sente. So we got a few points here. The white group got stronger, of course, but this stone can still escape in the future. Or if escaping is impossible, we can hit the vital point. So in the future, there's still some chance to get a few points when attacking the group. And black has Sente. Then you can, for example, switch to the lower side. So either we take the territory and give up the cutting stone, or we make influence as it was in the game. We play Atari and connect on the outside. As black, you can also consider a simple connection for black here. But then white has a super powerful shape, and this should probably be okay for white. This group simply lived on the spot and will no longer run anywhere. Next, I'll show you a game played by two Korean professionals. Lee Chan-ho is white and Jang Soo-young Nan-dun. This Korean pro prefers to play in the most reliable and solid style. He's one of the most careful players in the world. Lee Chan-ho got a weak group on the left, and white needs to figure out how to settle this group. White attached in the game. Surely you can try living here directly, but it seems that white will have to strengthen black significantly in the process. For example, if white wants to live, white will need to play this move and then add another move here, and another one. Black will build a huge thickness outside as a result. Therefore, having played the first attachment, Lee Chan-ho then thought of a more clever plan. White played Hane next. This is an attempt to give up part of his stones, an attempt to sacrifice some of them. Now if black cuts these stones off, we happily give them away. These stones are not so valuable. We can just make an exchange, maybe one more exchange on the second line, and then just play Atari. Let them take it. There aren't many points here. What did Black do in the game? In the game, Black played here as actively as possible. But it was a risky plan for Black. And we'll see how Lee Chan-ho managed to punish Black here. Black captured the stone, and in response to this move, Black captured instead of connecting. A connection then connected after this Atari, and the standard technique followed. Atari and block. Co-threats are often created not just by attaching, but also by moves like this one. This is exactly the same idea, just increasing the cost of a future co-threat. The order of moves is really important here. A lot of people cut first and then look for a co-threat. This is the wrong approach, and the correct approach is to first prepare co-threats, as Lee Chan-ho did here. Then we cut, and only after that, White has a giant co-threat. In the game, Black captured here, and White captured this. And this is a huge success for White. White saved their group, gained influence, and Black will have to save their own group in the corner. So Lee Chan-ho skillfully managed to solve problems with his group by means of an attachment, and then playing a Hane on the second line. Instead of the standard extension, instead of this move, the group would have lived like this most likely, but in pain, being completely surrounded. A Hane in the game is an attempt to sacrifice some of the stones, while making Sabaki outside. Let me show you a game played by two Japanese professionals, Sugiuchi Masao and Kudo Norio. Sugiuchi, the master best known for his longevity, played White. He's no longer alive, but Sugiuchi played in tournaments until he was 97 years old, and he holds the record for the largest age difference between players. If I'm not mistaken, it was precisely 80 years old, 97-year-old Sugiuchi and his 17-year-old opponent. Sugiuchi versus Kudo Norio. An invasion into the black area. And White has the task of somehow making Sabaki on the right. What methods did White use for that? White played an attachment. And next, what would you do? If you just extend here, then the White group is still under attack. You'll have to add one or even more moves to protect it. You can also live with such a move, but again, Black will become stronger here, gain a lot of points on the attack, while White will sooner or later have to look after this group. Therefore, White played an attachment and Hane in the game. Black played Atari and connected. And White managed to, having sacrificed part of their stones, but we have a proverb, give up Kikashi stones without hesitation. That is, all of these stones, White got them for free, so we're happy to give them to the opponent. Atari next, and as a result, Black's Chinese Fuseki is completely destroyed. This is a big success for White. There is still a connection left here. In Yosei, White will be able to connect all of these stones. This is an example of a very successful invasion for White. And probably all of this happened because Black played a little softly here. This one space jump, it might be better for Black to play more actively with a knight move, maybe to play here first. It seems to me that what happened in the game was too comfortable for White. White settled here too easily, and also destroyed the entire black area on the right. This is a tremendous success. So an attachment and Hane. We use this technique to make shape in the opponent's area of influence. By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.